What's up, everybody? Welcome to Real Relationship Talk with Trev. I want to say there's a lot going on right now in the world. Things are really tense. There's a lot of stress out there. So, sincerely, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's okay. And let's, fingers crossed, the rest of the world is okay soon. Anyway, put that aside. Um, I want to talk about science for a second, and I'm not going to call it a science lesson because I'm not a scientist, and I'm not even sure that I'm explaining this the right way. But I'm going to give it a shot. Um, so, in in science, in specifically quantum physics or quantum theory, there's something that's called entanglement. And if you don't know what entanglement is, if you have a particle and that particle can be anywhere, let's say that it's in a scientific lab in India, um, and you have another particle, a second particle, that's in no way, shape, or form attached or in any kind of physical contact with the first particle. Um, and it doesn't even matter what the distance is. This second particle could be on the other side of the room. It could be on the other side of the Earth. I mean, in theory, honestly, it could be on Pluto. It really doesn't matter what the distance is. But um, there can be an exchange of information between these two particles that is instantaneous, regardless of how far away they are. And when that happens, that's called quantum entanglement. These two particles are what they call entangled. Okay. Um, so if you act upon the first particle in the lab, you do anything to it, instantaneously, the same thing happens to the other particle. The other particle is affected immediately. Okay. Scientists don't know how this happens. They don't know how the information is relayed, some sort of energy. They really don't know. As far as science knows, the fastest anything, doesn't matter what it is, can travel is the speed of light. Uh, and the information between these two particles is traveling way faster than the speed of light because, like I said, it's instantaneous. If it were traveling at the speed of light, they'd be able to measure it. There would be a measurable lag, and the experiments that they've done, they've proved that this is true. Things can be entangled and transfer information so instantaneously that it's almost like having the same exact particle in two different places. Now, the reason that I'm talking about that is because I think that sometimes when you're in a relationship, you can almost wish or you almost think that your partner is quantumly entangled to you. Um, you just don't understand why they don't know what you're thinking or they don't know what you're feeling. Um, you expect them to be on the same page with you all the time. Uh, and okay, so I've talked about this before in one of the other videos. I think I don't know for sure. I think that the reason is particularly if you're together for a long time, you do tend to you know become kind of simpatico in a lot of different ways. You take on each other's traits, each other's characteristics. You tend to start using the same vernacular. You might have the same mannerisms. Uh, you just pick these things up from each other. And I call it a morphing that happens between two people in a long term relationship. You start to become each other. Um, Still two separate people, but you're very much alike. Uh, all right, so take for example the Obamas, right? We've all heard Barack give a speech, and because he gave a lot of speeches and he's very eloquent and he's very articulate, but he has this particular cadence to his speech, the way that he delivers his speech. There's a certain rhythm to it, that's very distinctly his. And it's cool, right? But I've heard Michelle give speeches as well, and she sounds just like him. She has the same cadence, the same rhythm. She has the same delivery. And I don't think that she's necessarily trying to copy him. I don't think that that's it. I think that she's just been with him for so long and probably listened to what millions of speeches of his at this point and just talked to him every day that I think she's just taking it on. I think it's just, it just becomes a part of her, and it's that morphing that I'm talking about. If you've noticed it, with them, then you know what I'm talking about. And because of that, I think that that's a reason sometimes that we expect each other to just know what we're thinking or how we're feeling. Um, and we expect each other to be on the same page without even communicating it or verbalizing it. If I'm hot, you should be hot. If I'm cold, you should be cold. Has your partner ever gone and you're in the house and you're warm? You're maybe in your t-shirt and shorts, and your partner's turning up the heat because it didn't even ask you. But they're hot, so they just assume that you're hot. And simple things like that, not a big deal. I mean, it can be a little bit of an annoyance if they happen often, but sometimes it can be bigger things, bigger expectations. If I'm mad, you should be mad. If I'm upset, you should be upset. Or at the very least, you should know that I'm upset and you should know what I'm upset about. That's a big one, okay? Um, Expectations. If maybe you had some sort of anniversary, or Valentine's Day, or whatever it is, and you might be anticipating a certain gift or a certain action or whatever, and your partner doesn't deliver necessarily on your expectations. They did something different. It wasn't what you were expecting. Um, you can't be mad at them for that. You're not quantumly entangled. They don't know instantaneously what it is that you're expecting or what it is that you're thinking. Okay? Um, and sometimes that causes problems. Now, I don't know if it's the same thing between if a woman feels this about a man, or a man feels this about another man, or a woman feels this about another woman. But I can tell you, as a man who has dated women all of my life, y'all think we can read your mind, right? We cannot read your mind. Um, you actually get upset if we don't know that you were upset about something, or if something that we said was going to upset you, or something that we did was going to, hit you in a certain way. You're mad at us because we didn't know that ahead of time. Um, we don't necessarily know that because we are not the same person. Uh, I have my own ideas and feelings and characteristics and personality and perspectives that aren't the same as yours. That doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean that we can't be in a relationship. It just means that so Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. That information exchange, that instantaneous information exchange. We don't have that. Okay, we've got to use our mouths. We've got to talk to each other. That's how we communicate. Okay, and if you don't express your uh, expectations verbally, um, you can't get mad if your partner didn't know what you were expecting. But it happens a lot. It's happened to me a lot. I'm assuming it happens. I've actually heard from other people too that it happens a lot. The expectations. You can't have those kind of expectations if you're not communicating. Now, There are times that you've said something over and over and over again, and your partner still ain't getting it. Listen, you did your best, you communicated it, but um, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you never say a thing and just expect us to know. It doesn't work that way. We're not quantumly entangled. So give your partner a break, and if you're feeling a certain way about something, uh, if you're expecting something, verbalize it, talk about it, get it out in the open. Now, your partner can meet your expectations, okay? But they can't do it if you're quiet about it because that information does not transfer instantaneously. Um, that happens a lot when you're being intimate, right? That's a perfect time to realize your partner cannot read your mind. They don't know if what you're doing is the right thing or the wrong thing or more of that or less of that or whatever. Communicate it. Talk about it. Okay? Nothing wrong with talking about it in those situations. Matter of fact, I can tell you as a guy, I'd appreciate a little input, Um, tell me. Tell me because, you know, I'm not always reading your mind, and from moment to moment, day to day, what you're expecting or what you're feeling, it changes. We're individuals, we're people, right? The same person that you were when you came into this relationship is who you are now. And even though that morphing, that simpatico thing might have happened between the two of you, you're still your own individual person, and your partner is their own individual person. So communicate more often. And honestly, I mean, don't you want that anyway? Do you really want your every thought and your every feeling to be identical to your partner's? Because when you met, that wasn't the case, and you fell in love with them being the person that they are, and that person's different from who you are. And that's what you loved about them. So why don't you love that about them anymore? Okay? Why don't you understand that they're still that person that you fell in love with? And if you want them to know what's going on, open your mouth, have a conversation. It really helps in a lot of different ways. Okay? Otherwise, go have a relationship with your mirror. Bye.